The GBN Base Gundam. The GBN Guard Frame from Gundam Build Divers, now equipped with gain armor that harnesses the strength of Amuro Ray's RX-78-2. This kit borrows heavily from the gold tier high-grade Jim, but a dodgy waist connection and weird color choices keep it relegated to silver tier. However, this kit rocks some dazzling proportions, great accessories, and excellent articulation. Why Bandai didn't keep it the color it was in the anime though, is just bewildering. Let's check it out. Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another Gunpla review, and today I'm taking a look at the high-grade Build Divers GBN Base Gundam. And once again, if you want one of these of your own, there's a link down there in the description, and you can get yours at Hobby Link Japan. So here is what the GBN Base Gundam looks like, just snapped together, with a little bit of panel lining on the head, not much, but pretty much this is what it will look like just out of the box and thrown together. If you saw the unboxing for this, you know that I'm incredibly excited for this right here. Mainly because, well, it looks like it's based on the Jim, which is an absolutely and utterly incredible high grade. Also, by just taking a quick look at the box, you can see that this right here is essentially king of the guard frames. Another kit I thought was so damn good. Of course, you can check out both of those reviews if you want to, but back to this one right here. So in the last video of the unboxing, I did make the mistake of saying that this was not in Gundam Build Fighters, but apparently it was. Right here. Yeah, pretty much if you blink, you will miss it. That isn't even, what, 5 seconds? Not even. So that brings me to my first, well, issue about this kit. Not necessarily a good thing, not necessarily a bad thing, but one more time, see that clip there? Look at this Gundam here. Why the hell is it in neon colors? That's normal RX-78 colors right there in the anime. So this is definitely an odd choice by Bandai. Not as bad as what the pre-release pictures look like, where it was straight up pearl colored, but the white on this still does have a bit of a pearl finish. But what really doesn't make a lick of sense is that hot pink, fluorescent yellow, and fluorescent blue. So just taking the model kit as it is and ignoring the fact that it is not anime accurate, or even line art accurate, the colors are definitely unique and set it apart than the high-grade revive of the RX-78. Maybe that's what they don't want, two kits kind of stepping on each other's toes, but still, this to me looks like it should be a P Bandai color, and we should have gotten the standard color. If you like it, awesome. If you don't, well, too bad I guess. But besides the color, because of course you can paint it if you want to, it is Gunpla, the proportions are absolutely and utterly stunning. This looks so cool. They've changed everything in just the right way to make this look just more out there than your standard RX-78-2. Finally, I will mention that I thought this would be completely and utterly based on the Jim because look at the torso. It looks almost identical, but the thing is, it isn't. It just looks like it. It is not the same mold. And I would almost say that it's just not quite as good as the Jim, and I will get to that again in articulation, because the build just isn't quite the same, not quite as good. So moving on into the accessories, and here's the GBN Base Gundam with everything that it comes with. So on the box we saw that it did come with the standard Gundam loadout of beam rifle, shield, and 2 beam sabers, but what it didn't mention on the box is we actually get a second beam rifle, as well as the 2 pistols that came with the GBN Guard Frame. So that is pretty awesome. So taking a quick look through everything, and as for hands, this comes with just a standard set of holding hands, but I guess they're not really standard. These are the same ones we would have saw with the Jim, as well as the GBN Guard Frame, and that means they are actually articulated at the wrist, which makes these a great pair of hands, pretty much like the build hands that you can buy separately, but just not posed. Next up, of course, is the loadout, and what we get in here is a shield. This is your standard shield. All it has is this rotating connection part on the back, and of course that can connect into the back of either forearm. Moving on to the beam rifle, and this is a bit of a variation on the RX-78-1, the prototype's beam rifle, so it looks more like that than your standard RX-78 one with that big yellow sight. And as for its build, it looks pretty nice, but it is just 2 pieces of plastic, and it's just a big grey plank. However, you don't just get 1, you get 2. Next up then are the beam sabers. These are your pretty standard pink beam, wide handle beam sabers. This is what they look like in the hands, and when they're not in use, you can just pop out the beam and stick them, as usual with an RX-78-2 variant, up here on the backpack. As for those nice little extras that came in the box, these are those absolutely awesome little beam pistols that came with the GBN Guard Frame. This time around they're in your standard grey plastic, not in black like they were with the Guard Frame. And if you like your beam rifles a little bit longer than these short ones, then you can just pop this little extension section on like this. So we have 2 of those. And I will mention that even though this kit has a bunch of hard points all over it, the standard 3mm peg hard points, none of the weapons besides the shield have any way of mounting them onto the hard points. So when it's not holding them, there's no place really for them besides in the box. But all in all, this is a pretty awesome little accessory set right here. But speaking of those particular hard points, just like with the GBN Guard Frame, this is a kit that they want you to customize, either using weapons from other Gundam kits or with some of the high-grade build custom kits. So once again, as for those hard points, you've got 2 in the backpack, 1 in the back of either hand, and 1 in the back of the torso unit. So pretty much you can stick whatever you want into those. Now moving on to the articulation, and all I can say about this is the articulation for the most part is absolutely and utterly fantastic, just like what we would have seen before with the guard frame and the Jim Jim. Just like I mentioned before, this is not exactly like the Jim Jim. I thought this would be a variant of the Jim Jim, but in general, the only thing that's the same as the Jim Jim are the joints. The rest is a brand new mold, as you can see from the cockpit here. The cockpit on the Jim Jim is color separated and built differently, and this is all one piece. But sadly, I do have to say that the build quality is not quite as good. So like I said, the articulation is great for the most part, besides at the torso, which is blocked by the cockpit section here in the front. And also, that particular joint is ridiculously loose. It keeps falling out all the time. When you're trying to get it into an awesome pose and you're almost there, bam, gone, falls right out. But anyway, let's take a look at the articulation from the head down. So we have that double ball joint neck for that giggity giggity. That means we also have side to side tilt. There that goes already, I'm not putting that back in. The head can rotate all the way around. There it is looking all the way up, looking all the way down. Of course in the shoulders there, that can pop out just like with the Jim Jim and guard frame. Awesome. That little polycap in there gives us a little bit of up and down. The peg for the shoulder, just like with the guard frame that is in white, stands out a little bit, but not quite as far. It does push in and hides that. There is the arm all the way up, so that is very nice. The shoulder here is somewhat separate to the arm, got full rotation in there, bend at the elbow, and like I mentioned before, we have a really nice wrist on here, which has that extra point of articulation in there. So we have ball joint, that flexion and extension, and that is pretty awesome. So here we are down at that notorious waist. So it is just a ball and that socket in there, which is the same as the Jim Jim. It just does not hold. I think it's something to do with the upper section here. It just doesn't hold on well. For example, if I do take the Jim Jim, pop it onto that, like so, of course these are pretty much compatible because they're very similar. This holds on absolutely and utterly perfect. And if I stick the base Gundam section onto the upper part of the Jim Jim there, it holds on in that awkward, not very secure way. So it's something to do with this section up here. It's just not good. So the articulation there at that midsection is next to non-existent, but we do have the rotation all the way around. Down to the waist, and there's the front skirting all the way up. Side skirting only moves up ever so slightly, and we've got back and forward. We just have a basic butt flap back here, so no movement whatsoever. Extremely standard waist in here, so that means there is no movement inside of the waist unit. And what we get out of that is a kick all the way up to the front. Very, very nice. Out of the back, blocked by that basic butt flap. When the side skirting armor is out of the way, I assume we're going to get that full splits. Yes, we do. Full rotation at the upper leg right there. That is the bend at the knee. Very nice. And the ankle here is double jointed. So we've got a rocking forward and back one up in here. And your standard ball and socket here. Actually, there's 3 joints here. There's a secondary one with the ball and socket that allows it to tilt side to side. So what we get out of that is all the way up, all the way back. Whoa, that can move around a little bit, and a ball and socket. There is the side to side tilt. Very nice. And there's the tilt all the way to the front and tilt all the way back. So all in all, besides at the torso, this thing is fantastic when it comes to articulation. So that is it for the review, and this right here is not going to dethrone the Jim Jim as the king of these style kits. If it wasn't for that distracting color, I would probably put it above the guard frame, but I still don't get why they went for that color. On top of that, the waist joint is really weak. That may just be mine. If you've got one of these as well, drop it down there in the comments. How is the waist joint in yours? Is it just mine right here, or are they all like this? Let me know. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give this guy right here a silver tier ranking. Of course, what that means, it's exactly what I would expect from a high grade. It's a great little kit, the accessories are awesome, the articulation is fantastic, but some minor issues keep it from being gold tier, namely that waist that's so loose and the odd approach to the colors. Some might like this, but at the end of the day it's not line art or anime accurate and just seems like a very odd decision. Again, whether or not you like it, that's totally up to you. I think it's actually quite cool, but I don't get why they deviated from the source material. But anyway, as always, if you do want one of your own, there's a link down there in the description. You can get yours at HobbyLink Japan. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.